So, all right. So, why don't we get started? And why don't we just do like a brief introduction, what we do, whatever you want to say about yourself, and then we'll go from question one. And question one, we just going to go around. Like we answer question one by one. So we don't just go one, two, three, four, one
Okay.
person. That's too long, right? So who wants to introduce himself first?
Ladies first. All right, I'll go. I don't mind talking. I know Christian and I don't mind talking. We
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
a lot, so
Yeah, that's
Good.
why I'm like
I was
taking
surprised. I was surprised you backed down for the first response.
this is part of my number one. Oh
all right, all right,
no. Let me see. On number two.
okay. So, my name is Carl Hughes. I am right now I'm a freelance web developer. I do some part-time classes at the University of Tennessee, and my real passion, and I guess I don't want to give away the first question too much, but my main position that I'm taking right now is the director of student news for a startup company called uloop.com. And I'll get into that more with the other questions, so
Okay.
I'll leave it at
Cool.
that.
So what's your passion?
No,
What
wait,
you?
do I have to answer the first one already?
Yeah,
I thought we were
yeah.
doing introductions then. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
let's
So,
go with the passion. Yeah.
my I'm really passionate about the communication industry as a whole, especially when it comes to reporting and journalism. But
Okay.
I come at it from an engineer's standpoint. So I believe it can be automated, and I believe that technology can make it better with less people. And a lot of journalists don't like that, but that's my belief, and I think that it's headed that direction one way or another, whether you fight it or not. So that's what I'm really passionate about is finding new solutions for this old problem of how do we communicate what's really going on in the world to people who care to know, and how can we use that as an effective vehicle for change on a political or business level. So that's what I'm passionate about, and I also like entrepreneurship because it plays very closely into that because there's a lot of startups in that field. So
It's very clear, man. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Cool. And this is not like a question kind of thing. Like we can always talk and
okay,
chime in, anytime. Yeah. So feel free to add in anything or contribute or if anything shows up, just communicate.
Well, awesome. My name is Christian Reyes, here in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, and I am editor of, for my big passion for 2012 is just accepted a position at Minority Report, editor of business and technology. Uh, Also a small business owner here in the Atlanta area, three times entrepreneur. So I got three little things going on for a number of years. So what I'm passionate about technology as how you can incorporate technology into small to micro businesses and how you can propel forward with a competitive edge, micro and small businesses. Also, a big proponent for technology and education, how technology will impact and can impact all those little corners of our world that are not cannot be traditionally served by traditional education. And I think that technology is our best chance to kind of democratize education to those places where education doesn't really reach.
So you're passionate about education and technology or just technology?
I'm passionate about education and technology as it applies to small to micro
Got
businesses.
it. Got it. Awesome. Got it. That's very clear. Cool. All right. Kimberly, you want to go or you want me to go? I'm the one with the
Oh,
water,
no, you go
so
ahead. You go ahead. No, what? I'm sorry?
I'm the
How
one with
did
the
you go?
water. Let me...
Okay.
You're the one with the wine. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's
All right. So I'll go if you want.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
basically,
Go ahead.
it's really similar to what Christian said. I'm working on a vision for a cohesive, open educational learning system. So something that will take basically from the start, talking with businesses about what kind of entry-level skill sets people would need, writing objectives based on that, having modules that people can go through online, so massively open online courses like what we're doing at Stanford right now, and then having certifications at the end of that particular sequence so that people can get support from mentors at different industry outlets. Let's say that you've got CS, engineering, different types of also vocational type activities. And then at that point, once you finish with a sequence, then you can just move directly into a job. And whatever project you were working on would actually be an authentic work project. So you could take it from your classroom to work the next day. That's my idea.
That's cool.
I'm really excited. I mean, essentially, it's just what Christian said.
I like this a lot, and because we're allowed to make asides, as an aside, I love Stanford's online courses that you guys offer for free, and I've gone through a few, not completely, but just like skimmed and like learned what I wanted to learn, and I love it. So thank you.
Oh well, it's not me, but I'm
But thank you for
You're representing Stanford now.
Yeah,
I'll represent, but not
So take the
officially.
credit.
Not officially representing. I will in spirit represent.
Where's your wine?
Basically,
No,
from my part
as
of the world
far,
to yours.
as far personally, personally, I love initiatives like that, like MIT's initiatives and Stanford initiatives, because I know that for me, it was really hard for me to finish my degree. When I went to college so many years ago, 13 years ago, the internet was not as advanced. I had a full-time job. I had to go to school at night. Often couldn't finish projects because, I was working 50, 60 hours a week to be able to put myself through school. So those kind of initiatives, and those kind of initiatives, the certificates and the ones tied to actual job applications in local industries are hugely beneficial. As a matter of fact, Carl, this was the subject of one of your Hangouts not too long ago. We're talking about how those things could be incorporated and how not everybody will benefit from a traditional 4-year education more, and so how some areas will probably be more beneficial to have a vocational kind of training.
And I mean, this is true of anything, though. I mean, what employers look for is your experience and your results of what you've done in an industry, not your education necessarily. Now, I mean, like, I get a lot of, I almost got a free ride to every internship I had because I'm an engineering major, and that's it. I don't have a great GPA. I'm not, especially smart, but because I'm an engineering major, there's jobs for me. But, I was able to make a switch from engineering to communications just because I took initiative and started something at my university that was directly involved in communications. Didn't have to do with my education. I mean, it is vocational is where it's at, and I don't know. I mean, those analytical people that will figure out how to solve a problem no matter what industry it's in. Those are the ones who figure it out. So
That's very interesting.
Sorry.
Go on. You can go on. Yeah, go on.
I came from a community college background, so my first job was actually in a 4-year, it was 4 years at a community college setting up a digital language lab. So I worked with Fort Lewis College up in Durango, Colorado to set up a Navajo bilingual teacher training program. So just the whole idea of having, not only were you capturing the culture and the language, which is disappearing, unfortunately, but it's also a way to teach people new skills.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, when I actually read up your whole post about it, right?
Oh my God! Really, the whole thing?
I read the whole thing, and but for me, it's very hard for me to wrap my head around it, to see how. I just couldn't really wrap my head around it, to be honest. But once
That's okay. No, it's fine.
once you share that, I got it. Once you share that.
I'm gonna have to go back then and research what you're talking about, because I'm definitely piqued. I'm kind of glad that you guys invited me to this, because what you're working on, Kimberly, is something that I've been really passionate. Not so much. I don't think Carl doesn't know this side of me, but with Mark Holmes, we discussed a lot of these initiatives and devices that are low cost. One of the reasons why I invited him to write the Minority Report is because of those perspectives that he has on education, technology, and education. and we focus more on third world countries, emerging markets, places where traditional education is not accessible or not affordable, um, and how devices like the
One laptop.
one laptop per child and now the one tablet per child, how those devices has such a large opportunity to make such a huge impact on kids that otherwise would not be educated. Kids that otherwise could not afford, their families could not afford to send them to school, and they could not afford to give up their daily work to attend class. But what if, through devices like that, we're creating generations of literate kids instead of illiterate kids? With this type of devices that cost very little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kimberly got a really the post basically she linked to a lot of different resources. I think you'll get a kick out of reading that for sure.
Yeah, just make sure that you have a little bit of time on your hands because there are about 50,000.
Yeah,
So it's
Okay.
hardcore.
it's very hardcore, and I was as I was saying, like I couldn't get my head around it because there's so much stuff in it. But at the same time, after you share it, I can see the possibility, like what would it do for the economy? What would it do for people who don't have jobs, people who don't have skills, and man, I think that's really awesome.
Well, thank you. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of people over a huge period of time, and everybody adds a little something different and new. So I'm hoping with talks with folks at Stanford and then also with some other institutions that we'll be able to move forward in a way that can get at least a few of the efforts funded because there's two. There's Ed Roulette, which is an amazing idea, and then there's another one called Talk Nicer, which is helping non-native English speakers to speak better. So it's kind of if nothing else comes out of it, I would love to see those two particular initiatives and projects be funded.
Okay.
All right, so it's my turn.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm Brian. I live in Austria, and I am working on two projects, and right now well, actually, let me just go with what I'm passionate about. What I'm passionate about is quite broad. I'm passionate about making a difference, helping people, creating something value, making a difference to people, and I know it's very broad, and it can show up in many different forms. Um, uh, and why is that? Because the last job that I had last full-time job I had was about 2 years ago, and I worked with a personal training and development company. And what I did was I had conversation with people one-on-one every day, and I helped them, support them, coach them, whatever you say, call that, and 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 the feeling is like these people are just on the phone, right? And the best feeling that I've had is that when people just come up to me during the course or after the course and introduce themselves and thank me, that tells me that the conversation I had with them made a difference for them. So that's like the best feeling for me. So after I resigned, so what I want to do, what I've been trying to what I've been trying to accomplish is to figure out, okay, how can I do what I love? How can I make a difference to people at the same time make a living? So that's what everything that I do right now, I look and see if it matches. Yeah. And so that's what I'm passionate about, making a difference. So that's that's it for me. So who wants to share what you guys are working on right now and what are you committed to making happen in 2012?
Well, since we were talking about my project anyway,
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get to go to Google for the first time, and it was awesome. And we got to talk about this particular project. Peter Norvig is one of the instructors of the artificial intelligence course that was taught at Stanford last quarter. And it had 160,000 people enrolled in it, so it's a massively open online course. They had 30,000 people who are actively engaged in it, and of all of the participants worldwide, 200 received a perfect score in the AI course.
Wow.
So super exciting stuff. So the guy I talked with at Google basically works for Peter Norvig, and I'm hoping to move that forward eventually. It's just ironic that I work at Stanford and yet didn't know Peter Norvig, and I still don't know him. Yeah, that happens all the time. I find out more stuff at conferences and online than I do just walking around campus.
Really?
But I love Stanford. Don't get me wrong, Stanford's awesome.
It's a big campus, though, right? I mean,
It's huge, yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff going on, and it's so decentralized.
oh yeah.
So that's what you're working on. That's what you're working on. So what do you want to make happen in 2012? Like how far, or I mean, the more specific it is, the better for you.
Sure.
So
Are you ready?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I have two goals. Do you
Okay.
want both of them or just the major
Both.
one?
Just give me
Both.
both.
Okay, so there are two projects that are associated with this particular idea of a cohesive, open educational learning system called COLES. That's my little acronym. I don't know. And at this point, it's the first one is called EdRoulette, and the second one is called Talk Nicer. And I'm hoping that at the end of this year, or sooner, preferably, that both of those projects are funded and they can move forward and they can start creating code and contributing back to a system that will help hundreds of millions, if not billions of people be able to get an amazing education and be able to move forward and start working.
Now, who's
All right.
responsible for funding this project? The school?
Yeah.
Did you get my question?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Who's responsible for funding these projects? The school?
Oh, no, that's the thing. This is my idea that I had over winter break that I posted on G+, and that people responded to and had amazing ideas in addition to. So when I say that the Google Plus platform is incredible for leveraging, just crowdsourcing, brilliant ideas, amazing people, all I want to do is just connect the right people together so that they can go out and do amazing things.
Okay.
Because I don't do any of this stuff. I don't code. I don't work with massively open online courses. I'm just kind
You
of
had the vision.
Well, I saw. I mean, I'm not in the minutia of day-to-day stuff. So I had a chance to kind of look at the bigger picture.
Got it.
That's my contribution.
Okay.
Seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So kind of like this could be like a Kickstarter project.
I would kind of like to see foundations like Gates or Mellon or Hewlett Packard or Google or all of them together fund this as opposed to just Project Kicks. I mean, don't get me wrong, Brian.
It's okay.
I support everything you're doing.
I
I think it's
understand.
awesome.
I know you do.
But at a global scale, we need major players.
Yeah, I
so if
understand.
Google could get involved, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But and Gates is funding Khan Academy right now, and I think some of the ideas that we have are a little bit more advanced in what's happening at Khan Academy. So I don't know Salman Khan, so I would love to meet him and talk with him, but a lot of the stuff that we're thinking about is a little bit further along than what they're currently doing.
Okay.
All right. So you want to have these two projects funded by the end of the year. That's your goal.
Yeah, and I could do it myself if I really had to, but I would prefer other people to do that because they have way more money than I do.
Okay, got it. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Who's next?
Carl.
You want me to go?
Yeah, well, let's keep it in order.
All right, we'll keep it in order. So yeah, what I'm working on now is this startup ULoop is in they basically own what is equivalent to a Craigslist for college students, meaning it's an online marketplace exclusively for students. You have to log in with your EDU address and all that. They recruited me to this position that I'm at now, which is called Director of Student News. Of course, it's a startup, so I got to make up my own title. They recruited me to this with the hopes that I'm going to be in charge of basically leading a push to recruit a college editor or an editor at every college across the country in the next few years, and to basically get them to head up an alternative to the school newspaper that is all online through ULoop. So that's what I'm doing now is basically getting it started because there's nothing. I mean, it's one of those traits of an entrepreneur is to see nothing and say, let's make something out of it. So I've got about 13 editors signed up, and
Awesome.
out of 1,500 colleges across the U.S., I'm doing pretty good for a month. So,
Awesome.
This is, hey,
Progress.
it is a long way to go before it matters. But my big goal for this year is to make that happen. I mean, I would love to see this actually take off, and I mean, I'm in the position to do it, so I feel most responsible if it does or doesn't work. So I do both the back end coding as well as the management of people right now, which is a lot of work, especially because I'm still in school, so I should technically do some homework every now and then. But it's what I love to do, and so regardless of school, this idea of taking the student news and giving an alternative to it online is really interesting to me, and my goal is to have the largest student news network by the end of the year.
Nice.
Awesome. And I believe in you, Carl. I think you're going to be able to accomplish it. As much content as you put out there.
Hey, well, I believe in me, so we'll just see.
Yeah.
Awesome. Largest news network for college students?
For college students,
Got
yep,
it.
the largest news network for college students.
You want to have this complete by end of this year?
Oh yeah.
What does that mean? Like, you want to have
The most writers, the most content is what it means. I mean, right now there is no such thing as a unified nationwide college news network. There are what?
Kind of like a Huffington Post for
just college campuses. Yep.
Yeah.
If you wanted to put that in a very a base term, you're completely right. Or a path, or was it patch is what it's called? Patch local news. Patch for college campuses is essentially what we're going for. Yeah, I mean there's tons of fragmented online sources for college news. There's tons of college newspapers that all do their own websites and all that, and that's fine. But let's be honest, the news is going online one way or another.
Yeah.
We need to train these students to write for online. I mean, and so this, to some extent, my role is kind of educating them on how to write online versus what they did in their print journalism classes. But it's a lot of different things. Kimberly's laughing.
Yeah, I'm laughing just because today, I'm sorry, just because today I did 2 orientations for 2 separate journalism classes, and I did one yesterday about multimedia journalism and the future and all of that. So I totally hear you, and I support everything that you're doing. And I'm kind of losing my voice because of all the presentations. But
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah. But I mean, there's no necessary set definition to biggest or whatever. But the most complete unified student news network would be great to me.
I mean, you already have that, right? I mean, because you said there's nothing like this exists, and you have like 15 editors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on it.
You
I got a lot.
So what do you need? Like, you need more editors signing up, and you need like a network thing, or what is it?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I need an editor. I mean, it would be awesome to have an editor at 100 colleges across the country by the end of the year, who each controls 10 to 20 student writers, and they report on the local news as well as their college news as well as some national news.
Okay.
And so basically, it's taking this idea of we used to have like 3 or 4 different editors for every different topic in journalism. We're now cutting it down to 1 and saying each student is his own editor, because that's where journalism is going: less people, more productivity through technology. I mean, one of my big roles in this was to take a basic WordPress install and turn it into something that could be expanded into having 50 editors or 100 editors. So, I mean, there's a lot of code involved in that, but, you have to look at it from the editor's standpoint and say, what's useful to them, and how can I increase their efficiency the most through code? And at the same time, I'm interviewing them and talking to them about their experience. And so it's a little bit of like, there's a personality side of what I do, and there's a nerd in a closet to what I do. It's fun to me. I like that.
yeah, just to note, you're not, the nerd side's not so closeted. It's pretty clear.
Oh.
I love it.
So I just put a link into peninsulapress.com, which is our local news site. It's set up by the Stanford Graduate Program in Journalism, and they actually have basically the stories that are posted there get picked up by the San Francisco Chronicle, SF Gate, and Bay Area Citizen, as well as NPR. So a lot of our undergraduate students who are working on projects in their courses get a lot of their stories published in the Peninsula Press, and that's video stories, multimedia stories in general, as well as written features, and then that gets picked up by local area press, and it's amazing. I mean, for a student to work on a project and have it
That's
be
cool.
totally authentic, and then have it be published in the real world,
Yeah.
that's what I want to see more often.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's, one of the big pushes that we've made this last semester. We were able to get republished in Huffington Post and USA Today. So, we're starting to get there. It's a long way to go because, right now we've got 30 or 40 people writing. We'd like to have hundreds or thousands, but you've got to take what you get, and just say, look, I learned something from it, and we keep iterating, figuring it out.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect to be the biggest and best in a year, but I do think there's a space in the market for what we're trying to do here, and not quite filled yet. So, if I'm as good as I hope I am, then I'll be able to help contribute to it. Not do it all, because I give all credit
to you don't want to be doing
everyone involved. I would never say that I'm a mastermind who's figured all this out myself. That's not true. There are a lot of people behind me who have worked hard to give me this opportunity, and there are people ahead of me who will work harder. So, whatever it is, it's fun though.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, one of the reasons I guess that Carl and I have been so kind of attracted to each other is because we're kind of going the same parallel path. On a national level, what I'm working on and passionate about this year is really excited to work as an editor for Minority Report. We want to provide first-person curation to several, a multitude of topics with a uniquely male perspective to those topics so far. I think we're about to add our first female editor, but I think that curating some of the most important topics that are going on in any particular moment, that's what we're trying to do. And curate those topics with real world experience, and being able to actually provide some good input to what's going on around those topics.
So
Go ahead.
Can I say my one sentence, like how I understand Minority Report, and you can tell me if it's wrong or right?
Yeah.
Okay. So from what I understand, talking to you and Denny both, and I like this idea a lot, it's taking a story that is done by a journalist or news source or whatever it is, and then taking a guy or woman, in the case that it may be, and telling her, give your unique spin on what this story really means, based on your previous experience, not just based on the journalistic integrity. Give a little opinion, give a little bit of like, well, yeah, this guy says this and the stats say this, but I know this.
Exactly. Put it into context. Condensing sometimes maybe a technical complicated story that will lose the reader at the third sentence. When they get to the third sentence, you already lost them because it's either too technical. Providing that, taking all that information and condensing it and put it into context for that reader to be able to consume large amounts of news in a very small period of time. And by giving it that personal spin, also getting the trust from the readership, knowing that they know that you are an expert at what you're speaking because of that personal relationship you built with the readership through that expert analysis.
Mm-hmm.
On the local level, I'm sorry, go ahead. You had a question, Kimberly?
I was just going to say authenticity makes all the difference. I mean, if you really believe what you're saying, if you really know what you're talking about, that is so persuasive.
Correct. And sometimes, and what we have to understand is that the technically adept readership, or I would say the 99% what's on Google Plus now that's very technically savvy, and they know the terminology. They're not at all daunted or intimidated by the content. But once you start getting the masses, the people that can really benefit from that opinion, if you make it too technical, if you don't boil it down, if you don't put it into a day-to-day context for them, you lose them. You're just more noise, one more stream, talking about technical terms that don't know. You don't know how it affects me. Case in point, for example, the Facebook IPO. Carl and I were discussing this on the stream. It doesn't matter. It's not for the great majority of us. It's not going to matter what Facebook does or does not do in this first round IPO because we're not going to be able to buy. So when Joe Blow on the street hears about this in the WSJ, and says, "How can I get in and buy this stock?" And they call, the little broker and say, "Hey, can I buy some of this stock?" You want to say, "Okay, this is why you can't buy this stock, even if you wanted to, and this is maybe why you shouldn't buy it, or this is maybe why you should." But creating that trust with the leadership.
Right.
So what exactly are you working on? What do you want to make happen? So I got what your Minority Report is about now.
Okay.
Carl gave a really good explanation. I think that really sums it up.
I like to take things that are paragraphs and make them one sentence.
There you
Oh,
go.
Is that the nerdy side of you or the engineer side of you?
It's the efficiency side of me.
Got it.
hate reading more than is necessary. I hate all TV because it takes 30 minutes to tell 5 minutes of story. So
what do you want to make
Except for
happen?
Big Bang Theory. Oh, sorry.
John? Except for what theory?
Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I love that show.
They can take all the time they want.
I don't like it. Of all the nerdy things I like, I don't like that show.
Oh, wow, really? We're gonna have some
Too
words
much.
later.
We're gonna have to take that nerd card out.
Yeah. Dude, you're missing some cred right now.
Anyway, on a local level, on a more local level, my goals for 2012 is to double or triple the size of our local businesses, and get those businesses to kind of run by themselves, so I have more time to actually travel to the West and be involved more in technology, which is what I love. But I won't be able to.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
If you come out here, I will totally host you at Stanford for a lunch.
Awesome. Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Cool.
So putting the right people in place, training them, getting them to do things the way I do them, and take care of people the way I take care is one of those things. And and maybe expand to a couple more stores down here locally, and so I can just go play in the West and not have to worry about the financials so much.
So freeing yourself up.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Brian, are you a fan of? Have you read the 4 Hour Work Week?
Yeah.
Ferriss?
It seems like
Tim Ferriss?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like something
Yeah.
Brian would like because
Yeah.
I've read a lot of stuff that Brian's written and seen what he's posted, and it just seemed like your mentality on life, which I love. I read it over Christmas break when I was out of college, class for a few weeks, and an awesome book about freeing yourself from your business, just doing what you love.
Yeah, I love the book. At the same time, I'm still trying to figure how to implement it. I mean,
Oh, me
It's-
too.
it's like good theory, and I mean, it looks good. I mean, there are cases, but I haven't been able to do it. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to apply that, and realizing that's actually it's a lot more work
Oh yeah.
involved
Yeah.
before that actually happens. Because
Actually, the only way you get to that point is by not at the startup phase, but once you have your systems in place. I have weeks where I work a tremendous amount of hours, but weeks like this week, I can pretty much sum it up in 4 hours my whole work week. And that hasn't decreased the level of performance or the level of productivity that we've done or the amount of revenue that we created. but the fact that things that can be handled electronically through filters and automatic replies, those
Yeah.
are done. Things that can be delegated, those have been done. And the only time that I really have to go into the office this week was yesterday to do payroll. So that's it. And I
Yeah.
pretty much could have done that from home too.
The
I just needed to get out of the house for a few hours.
the problem I had in the beginning was that because I was thinking about 4 hours, so my mentality was already lazy. So so of course if I didn't get, okay, I need to put in like 10, like 100 hours before I can get to 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then
Oh, yeah.
that I think that's what was
thousands before you get to 4 hours.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'll digress on that.
That's what I mean, that's what I'm putting in right now. I mean, that's basically what I'm putting, and that's I mean, that's what I need to learn, and that's what I learned. What I'm working on right now, I'm working on a Kickstarter project. I launched a Kickstarter project. You guys know. Some of you guys
Yes.
know. Kimberly know. Carol know. Chris, you guys know. So it's all about putting all the best tips and tricks and lessons in one place, interviewing the most funded project owners on Kickstarter to find out how they did it, right? And then so other people can learn from them, so people can learn how to raise funds and do a project they love. I want to ask you a question, Kimberly. So actually, before you pledged, we never talked before. So how did you, I know you saw a post from Duncan? I don't even know. Is it
Duncan.
Duncan.
Duncan
Yeah.
K.
Duncan.
Flags, yeah.
You saw him sharing, and then what happened?
Well, I know a lot of artists right now, indie artists like Ryan Van Sickle and Heather Faye, and a few other people who have various aspirations of being, they want to do that for a living, and that's what they want to do,
Yeah.
and that's what they love to do. And what you said really resonated with me. I mean, in terms of helping people do what they love. So given that those two don't have Kickstarter projects right now, I thought that they could benefit directly from what you were doing. And so I contributed at a level that would allow me to, interact with you more personally, I guess. So in my way, it's kind of like I don't usually do that, but I felt like what you're doing is extremely important. It can help a lot of people, and you've already contributed a lot back. So, I mean, it's not like there's no value add there, because you've already posted so many interviews at this point that it seems like it's just sort of a proof of concept in terms of moving forward, that you can only do better. And you're awesome.
Thank you.
Just awesome.
So yeah, so that's what I'm committed to make happen. Launch 2 products. Sorry, I should have just say I'm committed to launch 2 products. That's how you like it, right, Cal?
No, it's okay. Remember, I am an engineer and I like efficiency, but I also understand that personal relationships are way beyond efficiency.
All right, so I'll just quickly go into 3 and 4 because it kind of goes in hand. What could I see being what do I see could be in the way for me to accomplish that? What I see could be in the way to accomplish that is my doubts, like if it's gonna work, because kind of like what I'm doing with the Kickstarter project. Like, I see the value, I know it's good stuff. I'm working my ass to reach out to people, but still not working. It's okay, so what do I do, right? So does it work? Or I have these I think we all do. So that could be in the way of me accomplishing what I want to accomplish. I'm just distinguishing what's in the way, okay? My self-doubt, and I'm very clear what I want to accomplish. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So what do I need to develop myself so my answer to number 3 will not stop me from accomplishing what I'm committed to accomplish? What I need to develop myself, I think what just popped up in my head is just have more of these hangouts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Don't
would
be
solve,
afraid to fail.
that would solve the problem.
No, I mean, it won't solve it, but it would get a lot of other creative minds
Totally.
to give you those ideas that sometimes you don't see. But don't be afraid to fail, dude. Just because the end result of your idea is awesome, don't mean that the mechanics that are in between the result and the idea
Yeah.
don't suck.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid.
Christian,
Don't
stop coming here.
No.
Like I said, I'm not saying that they do suck, but I'm saying they may. So don't be afraid
Yeah.
to fail, iterate, and learn.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm clear about that. I'm clear, but I'm just seeing that that could be a possible thing that would slow me down or stop me.
Yeah.
And I'm still moving, I'm still in action, and I totally learned a whole lot just by, I'm interviewing people, right? But at the same time, doing it is a completely different story. Launching my project, I learned so much more than just interviewing people.
Exactly.
And I would say, Brian, I mean, I'm a young guy. I don't have a ton of experience, but I would say even if Kickstarter doesn't go through, launch it in some form or fashion.
Definitely. I plan to do that.
With no money. I mean, I talk to because I'm on campus, I talk to a lot of student entrepreneurs who say, if I only had $50,000, I could do this. And I go, dude, just do it anyway. Do it. Like, it'll look cheap, but try it. Like, if it's really a great whatever you're doing, just do it, and you'll get the money later in life. Worry about the money later. And if you're passionate enough about it, forget that. But I think you're on track, Ryan. I think you're doing it. So keep doing it.
Thank you.
Let me
I
give
will.
you a little piece of advice. Somebody that's funded and got it funded. If you, as an entrepreneur, can find somebody to fund you with something like $50,000, forget it. You lost all control of your project. Because nobody's gonna let you keep the control and give you that kind of money. So when I hear that a lot too. If I only had this much money, well, the last business that I started with $2,600, and that business is gonna do revenues this year of almost $1 million. So I didn't wait for somebody to fund me. I funded it myself, and once you have something that's, in your case, that won't apply. You want funding to be able to springboard other people with other projects.
Yeah.
And what you have to consider sometimes is if maybe Kickstarter is the right place for you to be in to try to do what you're trying to do.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know that either.
I'm testing. And I'm not worried about. I'll definitely launch this thing regardless on if I get funded or not. I mean, I'm not worried about the funding actually, but I already started this project. Of course, I want to meet its goal, right?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Just
So
keep shooting until you hit something.
So I'm gonna keep shooting, of course. So so that's it. For me, I just gotta keep standing what I think. Just go back to what I believe in, what I do, and what I'm doing is what I love to do, and also what I do makes a difference. I think I'm just gonna keep going back to that, and that's just what I need to continue to develop myself and going back to that place. And that's it. That's it for me. Thank you for listening.
Actually, well, you're awesome.
Thank you.
So if anyone hasn't told you that lately or ever, you're awesome.
Thank you.
And you're doing great work, and just have faith in yourself, and I'm willing to back you, and I can make guilt or otherwise encourage other people to back you as well.
Guilt?
So
Did you
I'm
say?
in your corner. No, I'm awesome when it comes to that.
Okay, good, good.
Constant encouragement.
Thank you.
I put a link into the Stanford Entrepreneurship Corner. They do, eCorner is sort of a list of entrepreneurs that come in and talk about things to Stanford students in some of their courses. And there's one by Deborah Hopkins from Citi, who it's called Talking About a Revolution. And essentially she's talking about do what you love and the money will come. And I know that you've heard that before, everyone's heard that before, but it's an amazing talk. And you should definitely look at it if you need a little inspiration.
Little bump, little boost.
Yeah,
I got
just
that.
keep doing what
Thank
you're doing because it's awesome. And I know it can be frustrating if nobody gives you feedback or support, but dude, I'm here for you.
Thank you. Thank you so
well,
much.
not there, but here.
Thank you. I got that.
Failure and succeeding sometimes is in the absence of all praise. You just keep going.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. You have to believe in it more than anybody else. Because if you can't infect me with your belief, then if I don't know you, if I have no interaction with you, and you in that short amount of time that you have my attention can infect me with your passion, then I'm not gonna believe in it either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So that's why I said, that's why I think people like Kimberly are important for your project, because she is somebody that can go out there and infect other people with the same passion that you have for the project.
Yeah. Are you calling me patient zero? Is that what I am? I'm like a vector?
Yeah, you are the monkey.
All right. Typhoid Mary, I'm willing to take that role.
All right.
But yeah, like for people like me that only have just a brief amount of time to look at what the project is, why should I totally go and spend my money on Brian
Yeah.
and his project? Why? Go. So that's it. That's what I want to see. Somebody to boil it down for me. Somebody to curate all that content for me in 30 seconds to tell me how awesome what Brian's trying to do, and why should I go right now and contribute to that project?
You know why?
Why?
Because basically he's helping people do what they love. He's getting them all set up. He's showing them the best practices. He is so awesome. And he's doing it, because he cares. He's really passionate about it. It's basically what he wants to do for the rest of his life.
But I
And
mean,
shouldn't we fund him? Oh yeah, we should fund him.
well, of course. But yeah, I think Christian and I both come from more the world of like guys tell you no, you're not good enough all the time and deal with it. And so
Tell them to go away. Get away from them. They are not your friends. They are not helping you.
Well,
you should not deal with them.
I will argue that because I think my best constructive criticism has come from people who told me no, I won't fund you. I mean, for the past year and a half, I've been pushing this idea of an online student news network, and everyone I pitched this across like St. Louis, Boston, Knoxville, Nashville, got nowhere in anything. I mean, got second place in a competition somewhere along the way. And I've been building this platform without any funding, just saying I'll learn it. So I taught myself to do web development. I built the platform, pitched it, and got nowhere. I mean, because everybody said, you don't have a good enough business model. We don't care. You're in the, wherever.
They want to see numbers.
Sure, exactly. And I totally understand. But this last year and a half has been the best learning experience of my life because I've been told no by so many people who saw that I was passionate, saw that I wanted to do it, and said, nope, we just don't like it from a cold-hearted business standpoint. And that it's been, as much as it's kind of made me realize what it's really like out there, it also has been extremely educational because every one of those guys was willing to sit down with me and say, here's 5 reasons I won't invest in what you're doing. And I love it. I appreciate that as much as I do the money, because I've got a long way to go before I'm dead. So I want to learn as much as I can.
So Carl, let's go jump right into question number 3 for you.
So 3, in the way of what I'm doing these days, trying to recruit student editors and get people passionate about this idea of unifying student news nationwide. There are a lot of little things in the way, but I think the little things won't matter so much. I think the big thing that'll be in the way for me is sticking with it. I do have an issue because I'm a very creative person who likes to jump around from idea to idea.
Yes.
I do have an issue with sticking with things, and I know that's one of my faults. I've worked through it in the past and forced myself into it before. But I hold myself accountable for what my future brings. So I think that what's in the way is me and my personality. And so in order to overcome that, I've got to be self-controlled. I've got to keep going, even though it's boring at times, and that's one of my hardest things to do. So
what could be in the way is you like to jump from idea to idea and not focus on one thing.
Yeah,
I understand. I'm like that too, man.
Yeah.
Like entrepreneurs, I think entrepreneurs have.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs who are like that. There's a lot of people who are kind of right-brained that tend to be like that. And I don't know that I'm right or left-brained. I don't know what that even really is. But
that tends to happen to thinkers. Thinkers. We're constantly iterating in our own minds. And sometimes you run the course of an idea all the way through from inception to death just in a few minutes. just think about it.
Yeah.
That's what's important and sometimes those ideas, it's not the right time for them. And
Right.
that's what's important sometimes to do a little business journal. And this is coming from somebody that's 35
I like
years old.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, 35 years old now, that some of the ideas that I had back when I was your age are not coming to fruition until now. Or maybe I didn't have the funds to be able to kickstart my own projects, you know, because I'm a huge believer that in order for people to be interested in investing or you to attract that investment, I'm a huge believer that you have to invest in it first. You know, you have to show me. Sometimes an endeavor won't reveal the return on that investment at first. Sometimes you have to kind of let it evolve and see what it's going to become in order for it to reveal the source of revenue and what's going to keep it alive. And in those cases, sometimes you have to self-fund. And in other type of businesses, it makes more sense for you to self-fund.
Right.
You know?
So, Carl, we clear. So, what are you going to put in place or develop in yourself to? We already know that that's the.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to put in place or develop in yourself to for you to overcome that?
Well, that's been one of my struggles over the last year or two is keeping myself focused. I've done okay, but I've gotten myself sidetracked from time to time, and I've noticed it. What I've been doing is trying to allocate my time in time that I'm allowed to do other things, because my natural brain pattern is to go experiment. So for example, this Christmas break, I had more free time because I didn't have class. So I built this little Plus Filters app. It was pretty cool. I was like, but I knew that I didn't have a way to make money on it immediately, so I couldn't devote my full time to it yet. Maybe I'll pick it back up soon. I want to, because I like it, but so it's basically being able to filter out what I need to do to make ends meet, and where I really want to go with everything. It's just a self-control thing. I mean, it all comes down to every day I make a schedule for myself every day that says what I will do every hour, and it's difficult, but it's something I stick by. So that's kind of one of my coping mechanisms.
Okay.
Anyway.
Christian, what's your take on that? Because how do you keep yourself focused?
Well, any small business entrepreneur owner will tell you that the one thing that will keep you focused is overhead. So what do I have to do to make that overhead? Because after all, I am responsible for 8 souls. I'm responsible for have employees. So what keeps me focused is taking care of my core clientele.
Yeah. That's
what allows me to pay overhead, make a profit, continue to invest in other ventures. Okay. So time management is huge on that. I have a tendency to be really lazy. I have this little mental tricks. Yeah, I have this little mental tricks that I play myself. Like, if I want to be productive, I have to be out of bed and showered by 7 o'clock, or if not, I'm not moving a finger until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. and that comes from the time of me being semi-retired, where I didn't have to work, and I did it for 7 years. So I had these little mental tricks that I play on myself to get myself motivated and manage my time correct.
What's your mental trick?
Things like that, creating this soft deadlines, okay, I have to be out of bed and shower by 7 or 10, even if I have nowhere to go. Then saying, okay, from this time to this time, this is what I'm going to devote it to. So just real strict time management, because after all, when you're the boss, there's nobody managing your time but you. So there's a lot of potential for idleness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for distractions,
And making posts on Google Plus. And
yes.
Google Plus, Twitter. Twitter is the major culprit for me, because I'm addicted to Twitter. So
But
Google Plus comes a close second.
it's funny because Christian, I totally agree with you. I've noticed, I was working in a regular job before I had a couple clients and got to quit. And when I started working at home, I realized that I didn't have to wake up at like at 10
Yes.
at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's like so at first I slept in, and I realized how little how unproductive I was. It's like I was getting up at 10, lounging, drinking coffee for an hour, and
Totally
then it's
understand.
lunchtime, and then, yeah. But you're totally right, Christian. It's like that. Force yourself to pretend there's a deadline
Yes.
every hour or whatever,
Because a lot of us function the best when we have a deadline.
I
When
do.
we're working against the deadline. That's when we're the most creative. That's when we're the most productive.
Productive.
So for people like us, we have to create all these mental tricks of soft deadlines that we know they're not really deadlines, but that have to be met. This what are they called? This major what's the word I'm looking for?
Milestone.
Milestones to move on to the next part of the project. So if the first part of the project is getting up and showering awake, then the first milestone you have to make is that shower and brush your teeth.
Yeah.
So you can get to the next milestone, which is actually doing some work.
That's interesting because I didn't when you say that I didn't actually factor in my eating breakfast and those as milestones. So I think that's a good trick to actually factor those in to say I need to get this. I got to finish my breakfast at 9 o'clock and get to work.
For you cats that are just kind of like recently or still in school and it's kind of a very informal, you guys may or may not be working at jobs to support and put yourselves through school or whatnot. But and part of the greatest act of being a working productive individual is those rituals. What do you do when you work in an office? You get up in the morning, you shower, you brush your teeth, you have breakfast, you get in your car or bus or train and go to work. So all of that is a ritual, preparing yourself mentally for those 8 hours that you're going to put in an office and doing some work. So in order for you to remain productive as a freelancer or as a self-employed individual, you have to create similar rituals where the space that you work in is very demarcated, where it's, this is working space. This is my sanctum. This is where I'm productive. This is where I contribute to the economy. This is where I get paid. And once you cross that threshold, keeping and respecting that space, will help that mental trickery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely what I've had to do over the last few months is I've learned that about, how it works. I've always been a pretty productive person naturally, but I realize when it comes down to it, I like a deadline. So if I don't have one for every action of my day, in a way, then I kind of go, yeah, I can do it later.
Yeah.
It's true. It's totally true, and I
Got
see
it.
it myself.
Me too.
Yeah.
If I bring it home, this is my motto. If I bring it home, it's not getting done. And I have an awesome office over here. I have everything that I need. Never have to set foot in my office except to do deposits. But some reason, once I make it home, there's always something else that has the priority. I'll do it later. And 3 days later,
Nothing gets done.
invoices still have not gone out. So it's that kind of thing. So like I have 25 grand worth of invoices that I need to send out, or I'm not gonna be able to make payroll next month. So, but it's still not gonna get done.
So Christian, I've got to go to bed, but I'm interested to hear your 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep it brief. So what could be my way of accomplishing number 2? That procrastination, not managing time well. That's it. Period. That's the only thing that can keep me from accomplishing my number 2. And what do I need to develop myself? More of those mental trickery, to get it done, to get things accomplished. Because obviously now I'm involved in more projects that need daily input, like the Minority Report project.
Yeah.
So having that mental trickery is gonna help.
Okay, continue to develop yourself, actually applying it, because you already know those things.
Yeah, I just need to apply them. Yeah, on a consistent basis.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what was your experience of the Hangout?
it was really good. You know, it was almost worth missing Tool for.
Was what?
Oh,
One more time?
Uh, I had sweet tickets to go watch Tool and turned it out.
the
So I
band.
committed to this. Yeah, the band Tool.
Thank you. Almost, only almost.
Uh,
Sorry about
I
that.
just
So Carl, go ahead. You can leave if you like.
well, no, I wanted to thank you, Brian, for having me on to say a few words, and I wish you the best in your Kickstarter project,
Thank
and
you.
let me know if there's anything specific I can do for you, whether it be online or offline or whatever. I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't have tons of money, but I'd be happy to whenever is most opportune to you, post up something special about it, and just let me know.
Thank you. Thank you for the offer.
I offer help when people ask, but otherwise I don't know if you need it. So just ask.
No problem. So
No,
Carl,
okay.
what's the what? I want to get what your experience of the Hangout, like what you get out of it for yourself. Just want to.
Yeah, I mean, I love Hangouts because it's the closest. I mean, if you're talking online interaction, it's the closest thing you can get to actually sitting down and having lunch with somebody or dinner with somebody or whatever. I mean, like I understand the value in social networks, but I also understand the value in face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between me leaving a comment on somebody's post online or
Yeah.
them leaving a comment on mine and me sitting down with them and having an honest conversation where we actually use our real voices, real faces. So
Yeah.
all Hangouts are valuable to me from that perspective. And so it's one step closer from what was like separated by screens and typing, to something that's close
How
to
about in
where I
terms
grew.
of the format, like the questions that we have that we kind of go through like that? Well,
I like it, but I think you need to keep things more drill sergeant-y. I mean,
yeah,
like,
I kind of
force
let you
the
guys go off
you let us talk, which is
too
cool
much.
because we love to talk. I know Christian and I would probably both talk all day if we could, but
especially me.
yeah, we both. I think we both would, but yeah. Sometimes like I've realized this in hosting Hangouts that I have to like cut people off and say, "Hold on, it's time for somebody else," or "Let's keep this thing moving." I set myself to, and this is just my opinion. I set myself to a strict hour limit. When it hits that like anywhere close, I'm wrapping it up. And that I'm not saying that that's something you have to do. Just a like thought for if you want to broadcast it or if you want it to be more of a formatted thing, you can head that direction.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I understand.
Just
I
you
understand. I
know,
got it. Yeah. Totally. I
not criticism, just another the way I look
to
at
how
it.
to make it better.
Carl's got the mega church approach. Half an hour of worship and 30 minutes of message, and you're out of there. You can get your lunch, and it works. So I like his approach. He keeps it pretty reined in.
It's a
Cool.
I told you I'm all about efficiency and keeping it predictable for the like format of the quote unquote show. It's not a show, but
Yeah.
thing. So anyway, that's just my opinion. I've seen it done well both ways, so I had fun anyway.
Good. Good. All right. Cool.
Well, this is going to be a kind of an experiment because next week is kind of going to break that. Not next week. Yeah, next week is kind of going to break your little format. How you like to run
I'm gonna try it just to try it.
things. How are you going to handle the other half an hour?
So Christian,
that's
so let's not talk about this right now, guys.
nice. I like it.
There you go.
Well, we all want to listen to Kimberly answering the question number 3 and 4.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
So
yeah,
basically, oh,
I
my
forgot
major.
you hadn't even answered.
Yeah, so that's why.
Sorry,
No, it's
2
okay.
hours is a little over my.
So
So
sorry.
basically, no worries. It's not your fault. So 3, I volunteer way too much. I like to help people. It's my thing. I'm hardwired to help people, and I need to be careful because if I overpromise, it kills me. Like literally kills me if I
Yeah.
underdeliver.
Yeah.
So I have to be very careful about how much I say I can help
Yeah.
and what I can do, and that's a major thing for 3.
Yeah.
For 4, in terms of what do I need to develop myself, so will not stop me. I basically just need to stop volunteering.
Or say no.
Yeah, I hope you guys can help me with that because I really do need it. I mean, if somebody looks like they need some help and they're doing some awesome project, I can't not say, hey, what can I do to help you?
So you gotta learn how to what, say no or prioritize your
I'm
time or
not sure
what?
no is the right answer.
Oh,
Not right now. Not right now. I'm happy to help you, but just not right this second.
not right now.
Not right now. Not no, but not right now.
Not no, not right now. Got it. So you practice saying that. No, no, not right now.
Well, I do, but it doesn't help. So
So
I need some sort of external validation where if I look like I start to offer something to someone, I need for someone to come in and just, make me stop talking.
we won't be there for you. We can't. You can't open a Hangout and tell me you can't do that. So
Yes, I can. I can. And I'm counting on you, Brian. It's all about
okay,
you and your ability to help me say not right now.
okay, all right. What? Anything
No
else that you
pressure.
can? Anything else that you can think of besides having calling me for a Hangout and tell you to shut up?
No, I have people locally that could probably assist me in a shorter term, given your time zone challenges. But I'm just saying, it's a thing. I'm aware of it. I know I need to kind of be more careful because I've actually promised someone something and I haven't quite delivered on it yet, but I absolutely will, and it's going to be amazing. They just have to hold on for just a little bit longer because I'm supporting 6 classes this quarter all by myself, and it's a lot. So there's a huge queue.
So that's
But
so that's totally in the way of you accomplishing what you want to accomplish.
yeah, my real work life. Yeah, it's so annoying. I mean, really, I love Stanford, but come on, it would be great if I could just stay on G plus all day long and help people. But I realize that there's like a money thing, and Stanford does that for me, so I gotta give them priority.
Yeah. But then again, if you didn't have to take those breaks in between helping people, maybe you
Mhm.
won't love it as much.
I don't ever want to find out. I'm pretty sure that that would be the case, but I don't ever want to not want to help someone.
Well, here's what I gotta say about that, right? Because your project, if your projects get fulfilled, it'll help
Mhm.
lots of people.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Now,
billions maybe.
okay, billions maybe,
Yeah.
okay, no,
No,
that's
really.
fine.
I don't
No,
laugh. God, I hate it when people
No,
that's
laugh.
awesome.
no, I like it, but
That's awesome.
there aren't many people who
So,
admit
so it comes down to your decision, your choice of thinking about should I help this person now or should I help billions of people? So it comes down to you go, okay, this is more important because that's what it comes down to really. Because what you just say was in the way of you fulfilling that big project.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it makes absolute sense. And there are certain things that are going on right now that, I kind of pick and choose how I allocate my time, but it's not about me personally. It's about the people I can connect together that can actually make a difference. And I know that there are lots and lots of people out there. So I'm really encouraged and optimistic. And I think you're one of them. I think that you actually are incredibly important, and I wouldn't be helping you if I didn't think so.
Thank you.
You have a lot to offer.
Thank you.